Hello YouTube, Willful Ninja here, bringing you another D&D related video. Mainly at late at night, because I feel like this, while it was still fresh in my mind, I should do a little short discussion video on it. Now, just recently, one of my players came to me, and we were talking about like, oh, make sure you have your character made and all that for our game. Sorry, I was messing with one of my brother's little toy games called Croc Dentist. You push the T and hope it doesn't snap down. And I'm putting it out of my reach. Okay. Now, we got into a little debate about something. Because he was like, oh yeah, I'm just looking I picked an ideal from a soldier thing. And I was looking through other things. And I was like, wait, hold on. See, it was mine. I made the ruling that if you're taking one of the SCAG, when I say SCAG, I mean Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide supplement. Now, when you take one of the SCAG backgrounds that they added, they actually tell you a recommended section in the player's handbook to read for personality traits, so and so forth. For example, he was making an urban bounty hunter, I think. And its recommended was, I think, criminal, if I remember correctly. But yeah, he was saying something for soldier. I was like, hold on, are you taking all the rest then from soldier? And he was like, no, I'm mixing and matching. That's when I was like, hold on, first off, you should have checked with me. Sorry, no, I didn't say that, sorry. But that's generally the reply, the thing. If you're planning on editing anything or doing something that's not in the norm, check with your DM first. Don't like, that's like coming to a game with a homebrewed background, homebrewed class, homebrewed race. Don't do that. Always check with the DM first. But anyway, now we got into the debate because, like, in the SCAG, it doesn't say you have to take the criminal background, to determine your characteristics. It doesn't say that. It just says suggested characteristics, right? Because they don't give you any. They just say look to this background in the player handbook. Now, we got into an again debate. It lasted, I'd say, 3 minutes at most. Now, here's what I told him repeatedly, like, that's my ruling, and he continued arguing, which brings me to my current, which is why I'm doing this video. One thing you need to do. Actually, no, first, I'll get to that at the end. Now, I was busy, so I just made a straight rule. I was like, yeah, that's how I'm ruling it. And then he even tried getting another player involved. And I was like, yeah, I don't care what he says. I'm the DM and I'm making this ruling. See, and then he continued going on about it. Now, eventually we stopped. Things got a bit quiet. I went back to watching my videos while I was playing a game. And then, nothing happened. Now, after I was done playing, I decided, okay, now that I actually have some time, and I'm actually gonna look into this, right? Because just in case it ever comes up again. And I checked Reddit, I checked Sage Advice. There's a lot of controversy of greenflame blade on Sage Advice. People keep asking about what they did, to the point where he had to make his own separate section for greenflame blade. And apparently, here's another thing. Greenflame blade can be countered with counterspell, even though you have to make a weapon attack. The weapon is just a component, and so is the attack. So it can be countered by counterspell, and you will still not get your melee attack. Yeah, very interesting. So that's what that raises the question, like, do you actually, now they say add your mod that you would make for the weapon, so I'm guessing you still technically do the melee damage. So with greenflame blade, and you did say greenflame blade targets 2 creatures, so you do deal your weapon damage to it. But anyway, I found that a bit odd that it's a physical striking spell and it's been counterspelled and your attack goes to waste. And also it uses your spell attack action, not your attack action, which means if you have two weapons and you use greenflame blade, you cannot attack again with your offhand, which I find odd. But anyway, because you can only attack with your offhand weapons if you made an attack action, but this is a spell attack action. No, sorry, this is a spell action. But yeah, anyway, back to the thing. Sorry about that tangent. So this came up when I was looking for a thing like sage advice on it. Then I went onto a Reddit page about someone who says, "Do you have to take the characteristics? Like, do you have to take a background?" And there was a couple of back and forth. One guy kept saying different parts of the thing about creating your own background. He mostly kept talking about, like, don't go make one yourself. Coordinate with your DM and first check with your DM to see if there is actually, in fact, like, explain to your DM why these don't fit in. Like, again, this person was pointing out, like, don't do shit behind your DM's back. And sorry about the light in the back. But anyway, then I was like, okay, so page 125 in the player handbook. I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not reading it. I'm repeating it from memory. So I'm paraphrasing. Now, it said, no, this said in the characteristics part, all of them are suggestions. You actually do not have to take any of the characteristics. You can actually make your own, as in you can make your own personality trait, you can make your own ideal, you can make your own bond, your own flaw. The only catch is try and keep them fitting with the general background team. For example, if you're making a contract killer whose then specialization was contract killing or hired killer, keep your bonds and things revolving around that. If you're a soldier, write them out, keep them to the point where they suit a soldier. So yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, you actually don't have to take any of the backgrounds, any of the background characteristics. For example, for an acolyte, number one, you do not have to idolize a member of your faith, as in religious order. It says you can either pick one of the characteristics, roll for a random one, or create your own. So yeah. So it turns out him even looking for characteristics from other backgrounds to correspond what he wants is actually not needed. So yeah, it turns out he wasted his time looking for other things, and I probably wasted and annoyed him by making that ruling without being like, okay, give me time to look at this. No, because I try and say yes to things. Like, I'm very open and loosey-goosey with homebrews and, whatnot. Like, but it's just that, remember people, don't question the DM. If the DM is always right. And no, even if you're enthusiastic about D&D and you want to read the player handbook, you want to read the DMG, you want to read the monster handbook, that's okay. But don't go doing things without clearing them with your DM first. Even if they seem harmless. Again, DMs have different rules for different tables. Some DMs would be more, okay, that is a, how should I put it? One DM may say no Unearthed Arcanas. Even though they're technically made by Wizards of the Coast. Now, technically, they're being field tested by the players, but one DM be like, no UAs, which means, like, even if you're going like Fiend Warlock, but you just want the Mace of Despair, he'd be like, nope, no UAs, and you would be okay with that. The DM may be like, okay, elves are a rare race. Even if the player handbook says they're not, that's the DM ruling. if the DM says Fey Run is actually a series of sky islands, that's his ruling. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean you can't discuss things with your DM, but don't assume you're going to get your own way. Now, in this case, my friend could swap out the ideals and characteristics in a roundabout way, but at the same time, we were both under the assumption that he had to take a characteristic from a background. So yeah. So that's a video. I don't know what the title of this video. I might title it DM rulings background discussion, maybe. But yeah. So DM. Oh wait, if a DM makes a ruling, that's the ruling. You can discuss it with him, but technically you should leave it at that. Now, at the same time, DMs, don't be, even if you're busy and you're being Facebook messaged, or someone one of your players starts a discussion with you, don't be in a rush to make a ruling straight off the bat. Now, I messed up by just being like, okay, yeah, no. I should have taken the time, said, look, I'm a little busy, we'll discuss this later, or I'll take a look at it. I should have done that, but I didn't. I made a quick ruling, but yeah. So DMs, take the time to stop, be like if you're busy, if you don't, make a temporary ruling, go away, look into the thing, and then that's it. But also, players respect the fact that the DM stands for Dungeon Master. They're the ones in charge of the rules and everything in the game. So if they say this is how the thing is, that is it. Even if the player handbook or the DMG or the monster manual says differently, the DM has final say. Because that's why D&D is that that's why they even have sage advice, is because so many people interpret the rules differently, because like the case rule as written and rule as intended. So yeah, hell, I have a game where one player banned all the Volos Guide race, even the non-monstrous ones. He banned them, such as Tritons. He banned them straight up. He's like, nope, don't want them. He also banned winged tieflings, even though they're in the Skag Adventure book, and he uses those books for other things in his world. It's just that he doesn't allow the players to have access to some of their things. It's weird. But do I argue with it? Are you sure? Because I would lose all my spells. But if he goes, yeah, no, you don't get wings. That's it. The DM made the ruling, and I just made a regular old tiefling. So, a few lessons from this video. One, players respect the DM when he says this is his ruling. That's it. Second, DMs don't rush into rulings, and if you even if you make a ruling, don't be afraid to go back, look for the thing that you are discussing, look into it for a while, maybe an hour, maybe two, or if you need to really buckle down and research it, like for example rulings of some majorly important like spells and all that, take a couple of extra time. So yeah, so DMs, don't be afraid to change your rulings. And then also, Green Flame Blade is a little odd for a spell. Like, it does not use your melee attack. Sorry, it doesn't use your attack action. Sorry, So it can't proc. So yeah. So if a spell or any item says attack action when you take an attack action, greenflame blade does not proxy that. But if it says weapon attack, yes, it does proxy that. Or melee attack, it does proxy those. It's just anything that involves attack action, it doesn't. For example, attacking, if you have two weapons, it doesn't. Sorry, I'm lagging quite a bit. I just noticed that. But yeah, if you have anything that gives you an attack if anything relies on attack action, nope. And your entire attack can be cancelled out with a counter spell. That's the ruling as intended. Now, as the DM, I'm not keeping it that way. Like, if one of my friends loses one of the melee spells, he uses Booming Blade. Very fun to use. We had an enemy who was invisible and he got Booming Blade beforehand, and as soon as he moved while invisible, boom, it's just a sudden strike of lightning. But yeah, I find it stupid that will be cancelled. The magic effect, yeah, that should be cancelled. But if he's hitting them with a mace or a longsword or a trident, it should still deal the weapon damage. So that's my ruling, and that's my ruling on these cases. Now, yeah, he could have done a gesture before he attacked, or said something before attack, but the thing is, he's still in the swing. So, and raising your hand or doing gestures to counterspell it won't stop metal or wood from swinging. Now, I understand that it's a third level spell, but yeah, no. Let's see. Oh yeah, today technically, because it's after midnight, but tomorrow, in terms of when I go to sleep and wake up, I will be doing my in-depth Elven video, as in Elven lore from the PHP, the variant races that you can get, such as the Moon, Sun, Wood, Dark Elves. Well, Sun and Moon technically count as high, but mainly them. Sorry, as I said, after midnight. This is a very late video. But I wanted to get this video while the topic was still fresh in my mind. Well, that's about it. I'll be talking about the lore. I made also their relationships with other races. Sorry, there we go. And then I'll be talking about, then as usual, as what I did with the other video, I'm actually going to go in depth and discuss possible classes to pair with your elf. Now, as I said, you don't have to play these. These are just classes I would recommend, especially for newer players who are not yet ready to dive completely into role-playing. Now, I always play a tiefling, regardless of my class. I play a rogue, tiefling, play a ranger, tiefling, wizard, tiefling. Even though technically a high elf is the best for me to play as a wizard. Oh, here's another fact. The elven trance. Now I think this is only for high elves. We'll find out tomorrow in my elven video. Technically an elf would be my better choice because they have an intelligence, but also their trance does not proxy the long rest regen for items. Yep. So a wizard would not get a high elf wizard would not get his spell slots back if he takes a long rest. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because the trance is how high elves get rest. They don't sleep. Instead, they meditate. They meditate for 4 hours, and that is the same for them. Meditating for 4 hours is the same as a long rest, 8 hours. So for a long rest, they only need 4. But for the purpose of getting back spell slots and other items, they need a long rest, as in 8 hours. Well, 8 hours. So yeah, again, as I said, we'll be going into more of a discussion video about this. later on. As per usual, I'm going to try and start my videos always. I'm going to try and end my videos with a discussion that you can have in the comments section. Alright, here's a simple one. Do you think my ruling on green flame blades makes sense? Or do you think I should stick with Sage Advice? Now keep in mind, Sage Advice are the makers of D&D. But again, as I said, counterspell makes no sense to be able to stop someone swinging their arm. So yeah. Now, again, there's no wrong or right answers. Every table has, as I said, every table has their own rulings. Every DM has their own interpretation of what rules they will enforce and what rules they will change. So keep that in mind. I just want to see what you guys think. And also, actually no, I said I'll do that shout out during the Elven video, so never mind. But anyway, I'm planning on staying up and watching a Fast and Furious movie. So remember, roll for initiative and may the force be with you.